I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know where to record this vlog or what it should look like. I settled on this, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, this looks pretty dramatic. Although in fairness, when I think about all of the videos I've made or will make, you know, this one's pretty impactful. It's pretty important. So maybe the fact that it looks kind of dramatic is okay. I've decided that it's okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to January. This is normally the part of the vlog where I would tell you the day of the week, but it's irrelevant because it's not January 1st. It's actually the middle of January. And you might be saying, did you not record the vlog for January 1st? I did not. After 15 years, I think it's time to end the daily vlogs. And I know that some of you are thinking, okay, but why wasn't there any more warning than this? Why is it coming up now? And the answer to that is this was a fairly recent decision. However, even though it was a recent decision, it's been a long time coming. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the history of the vlog and, more importantly, how I got to this exact point in time. So let's start with a little intro, especially because there's probably going to be someone that stumbles across this video and doesn't know anything about this. Hi, my name is Stephen George. I've been creating content on YouTube for a long time, and specifically, in reference to the video that you're watching now, I have been making daily vlog content on YouTube for over 15 years. I started back in 2009. I was in college. I was a film student, and specifically I was an editor, and I wanted extra footage to edit. So I started shooting a vlog, so I'd have some stuff to work with. And, very quickly it became more than that. It was a way to hold on to memories. It was a way to express myself creatively. And I also just found that I genuinely enjoyed documenting life. There was something that really tickled me about capturing moments. And when I started carrying a camera with me everywhere and, telling myself I was going to film every day, I managed to start capturing some moments that, I probably wouldn't have otherwise. You also have to remember that when the vlog began back in 2009, this was an era before cell phone video was really a thing. It existed, it just existed as like tiny and bad. So carrying a camera with you was a novelty. In the first year of vlogging, I had really discovered how much I enjoyed it, and it became a serious passion of mine. And it honestly stayed a passion project from the beginning up until today, because the vlog has never really made a whole lot of money. Certainly nowhere near what it would take to sustain any sort of life. And I've done it just because I really, really wanted to do it. It was something that, meant something to me. So started the vlog 2009, did it throughout college, and then in 2011, I exited college, and I decided that I really wanted to continue trying to do, content creation and pursue that as a career path. And like I said before, the vlog wasn't really a viable solution for that, but I had started a different YouTube channel called Stephen Plays, which was about video game content. It was back in the heyday of Let's Plays, and I have always loved video games, and that's what I decided to focus on. And the truth of the matter is, Stephen Plays was a full-time job. I really went gung-ho on the whole YouTube thing for most of the 2010s. I was working like 60 to 80 plus hour weeks. And that was just because we were putting out a ridiculous amount of content over on Stephen Plays, like often close to 20 videos every single week, which is just ridiculous. And, on top of that, I was also doing the vlog, and I enjoyed doing it. The vlog was a lot of fun for me. It was fun to do. It was a nice, reprieve from video game content too, because even though I enjoyed that, shooting stuff IRL is completely different. It's a different form of expression and creativity. So, I really loved it. But it kind of became apparent to me as the years went on that I had kind of signed up for a never-ending project. Because with Stephen Plays, you could work ahead. Mao and I, my wife, would sit down and play through a game, and we might record like multiple episodes in a sitting, and I could start to schedule those out. You can't do that with real life. So the vlog could never really truly be caught up, because even if I had edited yesterday's video and I had that done, when I woke up the next day, I was behind again. There was going to be more to do. And the other difficult part is that there are no days off. And what I mean by that is that, sure, you can edit when you want to, essentially. If you want to take a day off from editing, you can, but you have to film every day. So in that respect, there is no real days off. You have to always be filming things and be thinking about filming things. And that will become a problem later in our story. It was something that didn't seem like a huge deal in the first few years, and eventually became a bigger deal. But, it's something I had always kind of thought about. I was like, there's no days off, but it's fine because I enjoy this, and I love filming things. I love documenting life. It's fine. The other thing was that vacations were always really, really difficult because, I was already doing the YouTube lifestyle. So if I was getting ready to go on a vacation, we're going to be gone for a week, then I have to work ahead on all the video game stuff to get even more scheduled, because there's no such thing as like taking time off, at least not for me. So I would work ahead, get all that stuff done, and then go on this vacation. And while I'm on the vacation, I'm filming more for the vlog than I would normally, because it's interesting and fun. And I'm also documenting my own life and, creating these personal keepsakes for me. But when I get back home, the reality of that situation is now I have extremely complicated vlogs to make. And in addition, I'm back to normal life where I also need to shoot and edit vlogs. And as a result of this, vlogs were often behind. This is a common thing. I mean, people that have watched the channel for any length of time have probably experienced this in some way or another, usually in a fairly great way. Keeping up with vlogs is just inherently difficult because it's not my only job. There's so many other things going on that I'm working on and juggling and doing. But then as soon as we go like on a trip or something, everything is thrown for just a major loop because there's suddenly all this other work to do. And over the years, I've had people tell me, Stephen, why don't you have an editor do vlogs? And it's just because they're personal. it's the sort of thing that I just never wanted anyone else to touch because it's a personal thing for me. Like, I shot it and I want to be the one to edit it and tell that story. So it wasn't something I ever really seriously considered because, like, it's just not what I wanted to do. And as a result, I was behind a lot. And one thing that I learned, like, pretty early on, but it definitely got more difficult as time went on and I was, juggling so many things, is that being behind kills creativity. And what I mean by that specifically is that if you get, pretty far behind on something and you're supposed to continue to create like new things, you start to get real focused on catching up. And it's very difficult to feel inspired and innovative and creative on new things when you are still so focused on like catching up. Because to have that creativity, it takes time. It takes time to think of things. It takes time to play around with stuff in post. Like, that stuff takes real time. And if you start to do some of that, very quickly your brain falls into this other thought process of like, okay, but you're falling further behind. So that sucked. And that's something I've talked about over the years too, is like some of the best vlogs, it's not always the case, but some of the best vlogs are when things are caught up because you get like some weird stuff, or I was trying, strange things. And they're very memorable. And a lot of those are because I could focus on that. I had the time and effort and energy to devote to just that, and I didn't have to think about, there's like all this other stuff happening. So hopefully by now I've begun to paint a bit of a picture about how we started the trajectory towards this. And the thing is, it's never that I disliked this. I've always loved this. And I think that's one of the most difficult parts is you love something, but you also realize that it's like hurting you, like it's causing you problems, but you're like, but I love it. That's a pretty difficult thing to try and manage in your head. And every year, generally it would happen when the vlog turned over another year, which the vlog's anniversary is in November. So basically, like every November, I would reflect on the fact I had finished another vlog year. And I got to tell you, probably around the time the vlog turned 10, after that, every November, every time it became a little bit older, there was this feeling in my gut of like, will the vlog end at some point? Will it? Like, is this something I can do forever? Because there's a part of you that kind of knows what it's doing. There was a part of me that understood like this causes you a lot of problems. And even though you love it, like it's causing you a lot of problems. But the thing was, I never really allowed myself to truly question it, in the sense that with each passing year, I would think about like, can I do this forever? But then I would tell myself, well, you can't stop. Like I can't, I'm not allowed to stop. Like I have to keep doing it. I never gave myself permission to even really entertain the idea. And like, the vlog hits year 11, year 12, year 13. And like, as it's doing that, every year that voice is getting a little bit louder. But each time I'm still like, okay, but I couldn't actually end the vlog. And the thing that's so ridiculous is like, yeah, I could. I could. Like, there have been many things in my creative career that have felt that way, and they changed. Because yeah, for a long time we were doing a stupid amount of videos over on Stephen Plays, and I told myself, I had people in my life that are like, Stephen, this is like killing you, and I was like, yeah, well, we couldn't actually do less, but we could, and we did, and it was okay. And that's like a recurring theme. Like I can think of multiple things throughout, some of the YouTube stuff that we've done, where I've like, well, we can't stop doing like Morning Mario, and Chaz is like, we could. So this has been a recurring thing, and it's really no surprise that, this thing that I've been doing for so long and I truly, truly love, I wasn't allowed to like question it, But then we got to 2024, and to be perfectly honest with you, 2024 was a hard year. Like, there was a lot of different stressors in 2024, like throughout the year. A lot of like IRL stuff that you would notice like on screen, but then also off screen. Kepler, our cat, got very, very sick and is still sick. And that has been kind of a constant thing. We changed a bunch of stuff with work in like a big way, like StephenVlog, obviously. But even before this, Stephen Plays had to make some changes. Like it was required of us to like really alter some stuff on the channel in a way that we didn't necessarily want to, but had to make it sustainable. And so there's been all of these different stress factors and hardships in 2024. And that combined with the fact that I've been behind in 2024 because we had went to Japan and I had set those vlogs aside, which I still feel like was probably the right call, but it has added on to my stress because it's another albatross in my life. That's adding stress. I just, in general, everything that kind of combined in 2024 really did make me feel creatively bankrupt. And the thing about it is, it's not that it's everything I made, I felt like our streams have been really, really great, and I have a lot of energy and passion that I can put into that. But when it came to vlogs, there was a lot of times where I was feeling what I now know is like the beginning of burnout. And sometimes the vlogs would still be like fantastic. We made some really good stuff last year, but there was also times where like I could feel it so heavy on my chest. And I kept doing it because like you can't stop, like you have to keep going. And it's just it became this very strange love-hate relationship because again, I adore this. I love creating and shooting, and I love documenting life. I like creating slice of life content. But, after all of this time, it was starting to, I think, very negatively affect me. And I've had Patreon for a long time, and I do a monthly Patreon video where I talk to patrons, and it's kind of like a little behind the scenes thing. There's usually not really any exclusive information there. It's just kind of like early information. But I use it to kind of gauge what they think of, certain things. We'll talk about what's coming up for video game stuff or what we're going to be doing next month in real life, so it'll be on the blog. And in November, after the vlog hit 15 years old, that was like the heaviest I had ever felt, all of this feeling regarding all of this. And I told Mao, I was like, this is I really feel this. And Mao has told me this before. She said, if you discuss something, it's already bad. She said, you're the type of person that tends to try and handle things on your own and work on it in your own time, mentally, and tried to, work through things, she's like, so by the time you say something, it's already bad. And I was like, yeah. She said, why don't you, bring it up in the Patreon video for December? So at the beginning of December, I released the Patreon video. I was open and honest and transparent about this for really the first time ever, because I never want to give the impression that like I don't want to do the vlog, because I do want to do the vlog and I don't want to send like those mixed messages. But I also wanted to be honest about the kind of difficulties and hardships I've had with it. So I took that to the Patreon video, and the responses I got were just incredible. People were so kind and understanding and supportive, and just had ideas and were like, hey, like it's okay. You could move to a weekly format or a monthly format. Like you could take a break. You have all of these things that you could do and it would be okay. There were a few people that were like, hey, it's just, I understand that someday the vlog will end. And those responses on Patreon gave me the strength for like the first time in my life to question the continuation of the daily vlog. And that's wild, because like every year, I've always told myself, well, you can't actually end it. And suddenly, I'm a week or so into December last month, and my brain has like had a switch flipped. So then I start like exploring it. I'm like, wait a minute. What would this look like? Like if I if I were to stop doing daily vlogs, how would it change things? Like what would my life look like, and what could I create? Because I started thinking about the positive effects of it. I was like, okay, so hold on. If I stop doing daily vlogs, I could have more time for other projects, things that I've had on the back burner forever. It also means that the vlogs, when they came out, would be inherently better, because I would be able to spend more time on them, because I'm not worrying about a backlog. It's like, I made this video. And this feeling of making a video with intention instead of making a video because I have to, allowing myself to consider that for the first time, I mean, it basically changed everything. And I decided that what I would do is I would approach January with the mindset that I was going to take a break. I was going to take a break, and I would do vlogs when I wanted to, and not every day because I had to. So I told patrons all of that at the beginning of January, and they were supportive of that idea. However, it's now been, 2 weeks or so. We're in the middle of January, and I've had time to live with this decision. I have been able to feel what it's like to not create vlogs. It's not that I'm not creating anything. I'm still doing streams. I'm still getting a chance to express creativity in that way. But the vlog content I haven't made. And I know some of you are just immediately curious, like, well, what does it feel like? What was the sensation? And that's the thing that is wildest of all. On January 1st, I had this sensation of, there was something happening, and I was like, oh, I should be filming this. And I told myself, no, don't. If you're serious about this, if you're serious about trying to take a break, if you're serious about realizing how difficult this has been and how you've been under this grind for 15 years and you really want to take a break, then you need to not film this. And I told myself, okay. And then I never felt that again. It's been over 2 weeks now. I don't miss it. And I hate that. For the longest time, I would not give myself permission to even consider ending the vlog because it's just not something I could do. And here I am, once I have done it, I haven't thought about it at all. I do not miss it at all. And I have had some discussions with some friends who, because I've been feeling like a very specific way. It's almost this feeling of like numbness or being comatose. And I'm getting work done. But when I think about doing like this, when I think about doing like an IRL like vlog, there's no desire there at all. And after having some conversations with folks, they were like, Stephen, you're describing burnout. This is burnout. They said, you've probably been burnt out for a long, long, long time. Because I had people for my entire career being like, man, I'm always so impressed with what you do. And like, how do you not burn out? And I was just always like, I don't know. For the longest time, I was like, I guess I can't. Ooh. Oh no. So looking back, I think that I've actually been experiencing burnout, or the early stages of burnout, for years, like for a long, long time. And the way that I've handled that is I've said, oh, not right now. I'm busy. So I've had all of these things going on in my life that have been contributing to making things very difficult. And I've just not taken any of the time to process it because I've been so focused on working. And what I'm learning now is that, yeah, you can put that off or try, but you're going to deal with it eventually. I still had to try and relieve pressure over the years. Like in the last few years especially, I've tried to do little things here and there to like make my workload less because I was starting to feel real pressure from it. So I would give up a project here or take a step back on a thing or give some work to someone else for them to handle. So I've been doing all these little things, but the thing I needed to do the most was change the vlog, like stop doing the vlog or change the vlog in a major way, because that has been such a constant source of difficulty. And I just haven't allowed myself to do it until now. So in the past, 2 odd weeks, I have been experiencing this just wild rush of like all of the burnout that I put off for years, like all coming back to me at once. This feeling is so strong and it feels like an illness, honestly. It's very hard to put into words, and I don't know that I can fully describe it. But yeah, if this is burnout, if this is true blue burnout, it's awful, and I am experiencing it in a very high dosage, and that sucks. So I say all that to say this. My original plan of like January will be a break. Going to take a break. That'll be what we need, and then we'll figure it out later. No. This format change to no longer doing daily vlogs and just shooting video when I want it's permanent. It is a permanent change. Because with how I'm feeling now, I know that it's going to take me a long time to recover. And that doesn't mean that I don't plan on making videos. I'm sure I will, but I have a feeling that at the beginning, it's going to be kind of slow starting out because I have to heal from this. And that I know that sounds ridiculous. It's something that if you would have told me in December, I would have been like, that doesn't make, is that real? No, it's real. That is the best way I can describe it. I feel like I have to heal from this. But I think I will, because this is in me. This is something that I've always made. I was making videos long before YouTube existed, I've always enjoyed doing it, and I want to continue enjoying it. But I have to take some time to like get that passion back. The thing that ultimately did me in was this constant daily boom, boom, boom. And removing that element, allowing me to shoot things when I want, I think will allow me to finally heal and bring back some of that creativity. And I'm so excited at the prospect of that. And the other thing that I've told myself during this time is that like I don't have anything to prove. I did this for 15 years. As far as I know, I'm the longest record holder of doing a daily vlog. And like, I don't care. I just don't care. I've never cared about that. And it's like, if you don't care about that and this project was started by you as something you enjoy, it should continue to be something you enjoy, and you need to make changes so you can enjoy it. So I'm making changes for that. So my plan going forward for the foreseeable future is to make videos when I feel like it on things that I want to make videos of. And I know that that brings up all sorts of questions because people will be like, well, are you going to film this? Or are you going to film this? Don't ask me any questions because I cannot answer them right now. I know the type of stuff I like to make, and that is slice of life stuff. I think in time I'll get to a point where I come up with a format that works for me, that works for all of you, and we can all be happy with. But in the interim, I don't know. I'm going to try and focus on myself, focus on other things that I've wanted to work on, other projects. I've got other ideas for things I've wanted to do, and do all of that while I heal and things get better, and I can slowly start to get back to creating stuff that I want to make. And in the interim, I do still have some videos to work on, and that is Japan. So when I'm not making a new vlog, I plan to work on the last missing links from all of this, and hopefully you'll be getting some Japan stuff pretty soon as a result. For now, though, what I want you to leave this video with is not sadness. And I know it would be easy to be sad because for many of you watching, like the vlog has been an institution in your household, maybe. We've had people that have been watching for 10, 12, 14. I mean, some people have been watching the entire 15 years. And even those that haven't went back and watched everything. There's been quite a few people that have taken the journey and have watched all of the stuff. So I know that this channel it may not be the biggest, it may not have the most views, but like for some people, this channel means a lot. And I want you to know that it means a lot to me too. I don't come to this decision lightly, but I do think it's time for this. And I'm excited about the future because I think that it will increase the value of everything that I make from here on out. It's going to take me a little time because I kind of need to get better. But looking into the future, to remove the stress that has loomed over me forever and give me the mental freedom to create, I think it's a good move. I think it's a really good move. And I will do my best to continue creating a lot of the same stuff that I've made in the past, but probably at a much different pace. Okay. That was long. I knew it would be. Thank you for sticking around. It's always weird whenever you see creators making these videos about like, I've done this for a long time and I'm either stopping or I'm changing things. And for the longest time, I wouldn't have ever allowed myself to even consider the possibility of making something like this. And in a very short amount of time, like in like a 2-month period, I've allowed myself to think that, and I'm here. And I'm ready to start StephenVlog 2. Finally, we got a sequel. Finally, StephenVlog 2. All right. I'm done. Let's meet back soon, shall we?